اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولو أننا نزلنا إليهم الملائكة وكلمهم الموتى وحشرنا عليهم كل شيء قبولا ما كانوا ليؤمنوا إلا أن يشاء الله ولكن أكثرهم يجحلون. وكذلك جعلنا لكل نبي عدوا شياطين الإنس والجن يوحي بعضهم إلى بعض زخرف القول غرورا ولو شاء ربك ما فعلوا فذرهم وما يفترون ولتصغى إليه أفئدة الذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة وليرضوه وليقترفوا ما هم مقترفون. أفغير الله أبتغي حكما وهو الذي أنزل إليكم الكتاب مفصلا والذين آتيناهم الكتاب يعلمون أنه منزل من ربك بالحق فلا تكونن من الممترين. وتمت كلمة ربك صدقا وعدلا لا مبدل لكلماته وهو السميع العليم. وإن تطع أكثر من في الأرض يضلوك عن سبيل الله يتبعون إلا الظن وإن هم إلا يخرصون. إن ربك هو أعلم من يضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين. فكلوا مما ذكر اسم الله عليه إن كنتم بآياته مؤمنين. وما لكم ألا تأكلوا مما ذكر اسم الله عليه وقد فصل لكم ما حرم عليكم إلا ما اضطررتم إليه وإن كثيرا ليضلون بأفواههم بغير علم. إن ربك هو أعلم بالمعتدين. وذروا ظاهر الإثم وباطنه إن الذين يكسبون الإثم سيجزون بما كانوا يقترفون. ولا تأكلوا مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه وإنه لفسق وإن الشياطين ليوحون إلى أوليائهم ليجادلوكم وإن أطعتموهم إنكم لمشركون. أومن كان ميتا فأحييناه وجعلنا له نورا يمشي به في الناس كمن مثله في الظلمات ليس بخارج منها كذلك زين للكافرين ما كانوا يعملون. وكذلك جعلنا في كل قرية أكابر مجرميها ليمكروا فيها وما يمكرون إلا بأنفسهم وما يشعرون. وإذا جاءتهم آيات قالوا لن نؤمن حتى نؤتى مثل ما أوتي رسول الله الله أعلم حيث يجعل الرسالة سيصيب الذين أجرموا صغار عند الله وعذاب شديد بما كانوا يمكرون. فمن يرد الله أن يهديه يشرح صدره للإسلام ومن يرد أن يذله يجعل صدره ضيقا حرجا كأنما يصعد في السماء كذلك يجعل الله رجس على الذين لا يؤمنون وهذا صراط ربك مستقيما قد فصلنا الآيات لقوم يذكرون لهم دار السلام عند ربهم وهو وليهم بما كانوا يعملون ويوم يحشرهم جميعا يا معشر الجن قد استكثرتم من الإنس وقال أولياؤهم من الإنس ربنا استمتع بعضنا ببعض وبلغنا أجلنا الذي أجلت لنا قال النار مثواكم خالدين فيها إلا ما شاء الله إن ربك حكيم عليم وكذلك نولي بعض الظالمين بعضا بما كانوا يكسبون يا معشر الجن والإنس ألم يأتيكم رسول منكم يقصون عليكم آياتي وينذرونكم لقاء يومكم هذا قالوا شهدنا على أنفسنا وغرتهم الحياة الدنيا وشهدوا على أنفسهم أنهم كانوا كافرين صدق الله العلي العظيم.
ذلك أن لم يكن أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ذلك أن لم يكن ربك مهلك القرى بظلم وأهلها غافلون ولكل درجات مما عملوا وما ربك بغافل عما يعملون ربك الغني ذو الرحمة إن يشأ يذهبكم ويستخلف من بعدكم ما يشاء كما أنشأكم من ذرية قوم آخرين إنما توعدون لآت وما أنتم بمعجزين قل يا قوم اعملوا على مكانتكم إني عامل فسوف تعلمون من تكون له عاقبة الدار إنه لا يفلح الظالمون وجعلوا لله مما ضاع من الحرث والأنعام نصيبا فقالوا هذا لله بزعمهم وهذا لشركائنا فما كان لشركائهم فلا يصل إلى الله وما كان لله فهو يصل إلى شركائهم ساء ما يحكمون وكذلك زين لكثير من المشركين قتل أولادهم شركاؤهم ليردوهم وليلبسوا عليهم دينهم ولو شاء الله ما فعلوه فذرهم وما يفترون وقالوا هذه أنعام وحرث حجر لا يطعمها إلا من نشاء بزعمهم وأنعام حرمت ظهورها وأنعام لا يذكرون اسم الله عليها افتراء عليه سيجزيهم بما كانوا يفترون وقالوا ما في بطون هذه الأنعام خالصة لذكورنا ومحرم على أزواجنا وإن يكن ميتة فهم فيه شركاء سيجزيهم وصفهم إنه حكيم عليم قد خسر الذين قتلوا أولادهم سفها بغير علم وحرموا ما رزقهم الله افتراء على الله قد ضلوا وما كانوا مهتدين وهو الذي أنشأ جنات معروشات وغير معروشات والنخل والزرع مختلفا أكله والزيتون والرمان متشابها وغير متشابه كلوا من ثمره إذا أثمر وآتوا حقه يوم حصاده ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين ومن الأنعام حمولة وفرشا كلوا مما رزقكم الله ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين 8 أزواج من الضأن 2 ومن المعز 2 قل الذكرين حرم أم الأنثيين أما اشتملت عليه أرحام الأنثيين نبئوني بعلم إن كنتم صادقين ومن الإبل 2 ومن البقر 2 قل الذكرين حرم أم الأنثيين أما اشتملت عليه أرحام أنثيين أم كنتم شهداء إذ وصاكم الله بهذا فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا ليضل الناس بغير علم إن الله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين قل لا أجد فيما أوحي إلي محرما على طاعم يطعمه إلا أن يكون ميتة أو دما مسفوحا أو لحم خنزير فإنه رجس أو فسقا أهل لغير الله به فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فإن ربك غفور رحيم وعلى الذين هادوا حرمنا كل ذي ظفر ومن البقر والغنم حرمنا عليهم شحومهما إلا ما حملت ظهورهما أو حوايا أو ما اختلط بعظم ذلك جزيناهم ببغيهم وإنا لصادقون.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أحسنت، جزاكم الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فإن كذبوك فقل ربكم ذو رحمة واسعة ولا يرد بأسه عن القوم المجرمين. سيقول الذين أشركوا لو شاء الله ما أشركنا ولا آباؤنا ولا حرمنا من شيء كذلك كذب الذين من قبلهم حتى ذاقوا بأسنا قل هل عندكم من علم فتخرجوه لنا إن تتبعون إلا الظن وإن أنتم إلا تخرسون قل فلله الحجة البالغة فلو شاء لهداكم أجمعين قل هلم شهداءكم الذين يشهدون أن الله حرم هذا فإن شهدوا فلا تشهد معهم ولا تتبع أهواء الذين كذبوا بآياتنا والذين لا يؤمنون بالآخرة وهم بربهم يعدلون قل تعالوا أتل ما حرم ربكم عليكم ألا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا ولا تقتلوا أولادكم من إملاق نحن نرزقكم وإياهم ولا تقربوا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن ولا تقتلوا النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق ذلكم وصاكم به لعلكم تعقلون ولا تقربوا مال اليتيم إلا بالتي هي أحسن حتى يبلغ أشده وأوفوا الكيل والميزان بالقسط لا نكلف نفسا إلا وسعها وإذا قلتم فاعدلوا ولو كان ذا قربى وبعهد الله أوفوا ذلكم وصاكم به لعلكم تذكرون وأن هذا صراطي مستقيما فاتبعوه ولا تتبعوا السبل فتفرق بكم عن سبيله ذلكم وصاكم به لعلكم تتقون ثم آتينا موسى الكتاب تماما على الذي أحسن وتفصيلا لكل شيء وهدى ورحمة لعلهم بلقاء ربهم يؤمنون وهذا كتاب أنزلناه مبارك فاتبعوه واتقوا لعلكم ترحمون أن تقولوا إنما أنزل الكتاب على طائفتين من قبلنا وإن كنا عن دراستهم لغافلين أو تقولوا لو أنا أنزل علينا الكتاب لكنا أهدى منهم فقد جاءكم بينة من ربكم وهدى ورحمة فمن أظلم ممن كذب بآيات الله وصدف عنها وسنجزي الذين يصدفون عن آياتنا سوء العذاب بما كانوا يصدفون هل ينظرون إلا أن تأتيهم الملائكة أو يأتي ربك أو يأتي بعض آيات ربك يوم يأتي بعض آيات ربك لا ينفع نفسا إيمانها لم تكن آمنت من قبل أو كسبت في إيمانها خيرا قل انتظروا إنا منتظرون إن الذين فرقوا دينهم وكانوا شيعا لست منهم في شيء إنما أمرهم إلى الله ثم ينبئهم بما كانوا يفعلون من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها ومن جاء بالسيئة فلا يجزى إلا مثلها وهم لا يظلمون قل إنني هداني ربي إلى صراط مستقيم دينا قيما ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين قل أغير الله أبغي ربا وهو رب كل شيء ولا تكسب كل نفس إلا عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى ثم إلى ربكم مرجعكم فينبئكم بما كنتم فيه تختلفون وهو الذي جعلكم خلائف الأرض ورفع بعضكم فوق بعض درجات ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم إن ربك سريع العقاب وإنه لغفور رحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم صاد كتاب أنزل إليك فلا يكن في صدرك حرج منه لتنذر به وذكرى للمؤمنين اتبعوا ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم ولا تتبعوا من دونه أولياء قليلا ما تذكرون وكم من قرية أهلكناها فجاءها بأسنا بياتا أو هم قائلون فما كان دعواهم إذ جاءهم بأسنا إلا أن قالوا إنا كنا ظالمين فلنسألن الذين أرسل إليهم ولنسألن المرسلين فلنقصن عليهم بعلم وما كنا غائبين والوزن يومئذ الحق فمن ثقلت موازينه فأولئك هم المفلحون ومن خفت موازينه فأولئك الذين خسروا أنفسهم بما كانوا بآياتنا يظلمون ولقد مكناكم في الأرض وجعلنا لكم فيها معايش قليلا ما تشكرون ولقد خلقناكم ثم صورناكم ثم قلنا للملائكة اسجدوا لآدم فسجدوا إلا إبليس لم يكن من الساجدين قال ما منعك ألا تسجد إذ أمرتك قال أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين قال فاهبط منها فما يكون لك أن تتكبر فيها فاخرج إنك من الصاغرين قال أنظرني إلى يوم يبعثون قال إنك من المنظرين قال فبما أغويتني لأقعدن لهم صراطك المستقيم ثم لآتينهم من بين أيديهم ومن خلفهم وعن أيمانهم وعن شمائلهم ولا تجد أكثرهم شاكرين قال اخرج منها مذءوما مدحورا لمن تبعك منهم لأملأن جهنم منكم أجمعين ويا آدم اسكن أنت وزوجك الجنة فكلا من حيث شئتما ولا تقربا هذه الشجرة فتكونا من الظالمين فوسوس لهما الشيطان ليبدي لهما ما وري عنهما من سوآتهما فقال ما نهاكما ربكما عن هذه الشجرة إلا أن تكونا ملكين أو تكونا من الخالدين فقاسمهما إني لكما لمن الناصحين فدلاهما بغرور فلما ذاقا الشجرة بدت لهما سوآتهما وطفقا يخصفان عليهما من ورق الجنة وناداهما ربهما ألم أنهكما عن تلكما الشجرة وأقل لكما إن الشيطان لكما عدو مبين قال ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين قال اهبطوا بعضكم لبعض عدو ولكم في الأرض مستقر ومتاع إلى حين قال فيها تحيون وفيها تموتون ومنها تخرجون يا بني آدم قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم وريشا ولباس التقوى ذلك خير ذلك من آيات الله لعلهم يذكرون يا بني آدم لا يفتننكم الشيطان كما أخرج أبويكم من الجنة ينزع عنهما لباسهما ليريهما سوآتهما إنه يراكم هو وقبيله من حيث لا ترونهم إنا جعلنا الشياطين أولياء للذين لا يؤمنون وإذا فعلوا فاحشة قالوا وجدنا عليها آباءنا والله أمرنا بها قل إن الله لا يأمر بالفحشاء أتقولون على الله ما لا تعلمون قل أمر ربي بالقسط وأقيموا وجوهكم عند كل مسجد وادعوه مخلصين له الدين كما بدأكم تعودون فريقا هدى وفريقا حق عليهم الضلالة إنهم اتخذوا الشياطين أولياء من دون الله ويحسبون أنهم مهتدون يا بني آدم خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين قل من حرم زينة الله التي أخرج لعباده والطيبات من الرزق قل هي للذين آمنوا في الحياة الدنيا خالصة يوم القيامة كذلك نفصل الآيات لقوم يعلمون قل إنما حرم ربي الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم ينزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون ولكل أمة أجل فإذا جاء أجلهم لا يستأخرون ساعة ولا يستقدمون يا بني آدم إما يأتينكم رسل منكم يقصون عليكم آياتي فمن اتقى وأصلح فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون والذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا أو كذب بآياته أولئك ينالهم نصيبهم من الكتاب حتى إذا جاءتهم رسلنا يتوفونهم قالوا أين ما كنتم تدعون من دون الله قالوا ضلوا عنا وشهدوا على أنفسهم أنهم كانوا كافرين قال ادخلوا في قد خلت من قبلكم من الجن والإنس في النار كلما دخلت أمة لعنت أختها حتى إذا اداركوا فيها جميعا قالت أخراهم لأولاهم ربنا هؤلاء أضلونا فآتهم عذابا ضعفا من النار قال لكل ضعف ولكن لا تعلمون وقالت أولاهم لأخراهم فما كان لكم علينا من فضل فذوقوا العذاب بما كنتم تكسبون إن الذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها لا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة حتى يلج الجمل في سم الخياط وكذلك نجزي المجرمين لهم من جهنم مهاد ومن فوقهم غواش وكذلك نجزي الظالمين والذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات لا نكلف نفسا إلا وسعها أولئك أصحاب الجنة هم فيها خالدون ونزعنا ما في صدورهم من غل تجري من تحتهم الأنهار وقالوا الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق ونودوا أن تلكم الجنة أورثتموها بما كنتم تعملون ونادى أصحاب الجنة أصحاب النار أن قد وجدنا ما وعدنا ربنا حقا فهل وجدتم ما وعد ربكم حقا قالوا نعم فأذن مؤذن بينهم اللعنة الله على الظالمين الذين يصدون عن سبيل الله ويبغونها عوجا وهم بالآخرة كافرون وبينهما حجاب وعلى الأعراف رجال يعرفون كلا بسيماهم ونادوا أصحاب الجنة أن سلام عليكم لم يدخلوها وهم يطمعون وإذا صرفت أبصارهم تلقاء أصحاب النار قالوا ربنا لا تجعلنا مع القوم الظالمين ونادى أصحاب الأعراف رجالا يعرفونهم بسيماهم قالوا ما أغنى عنكم جمعكم وما كنتم تستكبرون أهؤلاء الذين أقسمتم لا ينالهم الله برحمة ادخلوا الجنة لا خوف عليكم ولا أنتم تحزنون ونادى أصحاب النار أصحاب الجنة أن أفيضوا علينا من الماء أو مما رزقكم الله قالوا إن الله حرمهما على الكافرين الذين اتخذوا دينهم لهوا ولعبا وغرتهم الحياة الدنيا فاليوم ننساهم كما نسوا لقاء يومهم هذا وما كانوا بآياتنا يجحدون ولقد جئناهم بكتاب فصلناه على علم هدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون هل ينظرون إلا تأويله يوم يأتي تأويله يقول الذين نسوه من قبل قد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق فهل لنا من شفعاء فيشفعوا لنا أو نرد فنعمل غير الذي كنا نعمل قد خسروا أنفسهم وضل عنهم ما كانوا يفترون إن ربكم الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض في 6 أيام ثم استوى على العرش يغشي الليل النهار يطلبه حثيثا والشمس والقمر والنجوم مسخرات بأمره ألا له الخلق والأمر تبارك الله رب العالمين ادعوا ربكم تضرعا وخفية إنه لا يحب المعتدين ولا تفسدوا في الأرض بعد إصلاحها وادعوه خوفا وطمعا إن رحمة الله قريب من المحسنين وهو الذي يرسل الرياح بشرا بين يدي رحمته حتى إذا أقلت سحابا ثقالا سقناه لبلد ميت فأنزلنا به الماء فأخرجنا به من كل الثمرات كذلك نخرج الموتى لعلكم تذكرون والبلد الطيب يخرج نباته بإذن ربه والذي خبث لا يخرج إلا نكدا كذلك نصرف الآيات لقوم يشكرون لقد أرسلنا نوحا إلى قومه فقال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره إني أخاف عليكم عذاب يوم عظيم قال الملأ من قومه إنا لنراك في ضلال مبين قال يا قوم ليس بي ضلالة ولكني رسول من رب العالمين أبلغكم رسالات ربي وأنصح لكم وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون أوعجبتم أن جاءكم ذكر من ربكم على رجل منكم لينذركم ولتتقوا ولعلكم ترحمون فكذبوه فأنجيناه والذين معه في الفلك وأغرقنا الذين كذبوا بآياتنا إنهم كانوا قوما عمين وإلى عاد أخاهم هودا قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره أفلا تتقون قال الملأ الذين كفروا من قومه إنا لنراك في سفاهة وإنا لنظنك من الكاذبين قال يا قوم ليس بي سفاهة ولكني رسول من رب العالمين أبلغكم رسالات ربي وأنا لكم ناصح أمين. أوعجبتم أن جاءكم ذكر من ربكم على رجل منكم لينذركم واذكروا إذ جعلكم خلفاء من بعد قوم نوح وزادكم في الخلق بسطة واذكروا آلاء الله لعلكم تفلحون. قالوا أجئتنا لنعبد الله وحده ونذر ما كان يعبد آباؤنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين. قال قد وقع عليكم من ربكم رجس وغضب أتجادلونني في أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما نزل الله بها من سلطان فانتظروا إني معكم من المنتظرين. فأنجيناه والذين معه برحمة منا وقطعنا دابر الذين كذبوا بآياتنا وما كانوا مؤمنين. وإلى ثمود أخاهم صالحا قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره قد جاءتكم بينة من ربكم هذه ناقة الله لكم آية فذروها تأكل في أرض الله ولا تمسوها بسوء فيأخذكم عذاب أليم. واذكروا إذ جعلكم خلفاء من بعد عاد وبوأكم في الأرض تتخذون من سهولها قصورا وتنحتون الجبال بيوتا واذكروا آلاء الله ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين. قال الملأ الذين استكبروا من قومه للذين استضعفوا لمن آمن منهم فتعلمون أن صالحا مرسل من ربه قالوا إنا بما أرسل به مؤمنون. قال الذين استكبروا إنا بالذي آمنتم به كافرون. فعقروا الناقة وعتوا عن أمر ربهم وقالوا يا صالح ائتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من المرسلين. فأخذتهم الرجفة فأصبحوا في دارهم جاثمين. فتولى عنهم وقال يا قوم لقد أبلغتكم رسالة ربي ونصحت لكم ولكن لا تحبون الناصحين. ولوطا إذ قال لقومه أتأتون الفاحشة ما سبقكم بها من أحد من العالمين إنكم لتأتون الرجال شهوة من دون النساء بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وما كان جواب قومه إلا أن قالوا أخرجوهم من قريتكم إنهم أناس يتطهرون. فأنجيناه وأهله إلا امرأته كانت من الغابرين. وأمطرنا عليهم مطرا فانظر كيف كان عاقبة المجرمين. وإلى مدين أخاهم شعيبا قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره قد جاءتكم بينة من ربكم فأوفوا الكيل والميزان ولا تبخسوا الناس أشياءهم ولا تفسدوا في الأرض بعد إصلاحها ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين ولا تقعدوا بكل صراط توعدون وتصدون عن سبيل الله عن سبيل الله من آمن به وتبغونها عوجا واذكروا إذ كنتم قليلا فكثركم وانظروا كيف كان عاقبة المفسدين وإن كان طائفة منكم آمنوا بالذي أرسلت به وطائفة لم يؤمنوا فاصبروا حتى يحكم الله بيننا فاصبروا حتى يحكم الله بيننا وهو خير الحاكمين صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات تابع بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك على كل شيء قدير. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مع الإخلاص والصلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight, inshallah, we're going to go over our 8th lesson in our series on learning how to read Quran. And tonight's lesson will be a continuation of last night's lesson, in which we were practicing and learning how to connect our letters. We've practiced so far the alphabet. We've learned the pronunciation of the letters, the names of the letters, the sounds of the letters. We've learned how to write the capital letters and the lowercase letters. And now we're going to use all that we've learned and what we practiced last night to continue our progress in connecting the letters. Last night we did 2-letter words, 3-letter words, and some 4-letter words. And tonight, inshallah, we're going to practice connecting letters into words that are 5 letters or more. And we'll see that the process is the same, whether it's a 2-letter, 3-letter, 4, 5, 6, whatever letter, number, letter, word it may be, the process is the same. So we're going to start with our first word. So we have 5 letters here. We have alif, lam, ha, mim, and dal. And the same as we did last night, we take each letter. If it has a lowercase form, then we will convert it to its lowercase form. So the alif does not have a lowercase form. Next is the lam. The lam, yes, it does have a lowercase form. When it connects to a letter on its left, we drop, as we learned before, we drop the tail of the lam, this tail over here, and we keep the long portion with a small extension to connect to the next letter. Then we have the ha. We drop the tail of the ha, we keep the top portion to have the lowercase. The same with the mim. We drop the straight tail portion and keep the top part as we have here in the lowercase mim, and the dal stays the same. So now we're going to take these lowercase letters and see how we connect them. Now, if you remember, there are certain letters that will connect to a letter on their right, but they will not connect the letters on their left. And the alif is one of them. So we have an alif here, so we have to leave a space after it because it does not connect on its left. Next, we take this lam, we put it next to the alif here with a space in between them. And then we take our ha and connect it right to that extension that we had with the lam. Next, we take our lowercase mim and connect it to the extension of the ha. And then the dal gets connected to the extension of the mim. Now we're going to write this ourselves. So here we have our alif. We're going to draw our alif as a straight line, and we have to remember to leave a space after it. Now we're going to write the lowercase of the lam, straight down, and then a small extension. We're going to write the lowercase of the ha. We're going to drop the tail and keep just the head portion, the top portion. So we write the ha. Then we're going to drop the long tail on the mim and keep just the top portion. So we have the mim. And then we're going to write in the dal connected to the extension of the mim. And there's our word. So let's go to our next one. Here we have, again, this starts with an alif. Then we have noon, ayn, mim, and our last letter is ta. And once again, we remember that we have to leave a space after the alif. So we bring the alif by itself without connecting to anything else. And of course, it doesn't have a lowercase form. It stays as is. The noon loses its tail, and we keep this small curve. It comes straight down, just this little curve right here. And we know that the noon has 1 dot on top. Now, if you remember, the ayn has 3 lowercase forms. It has this form when it's the first letter of a word. It has this form when it's in the middle of a word. And then it has this third form when it's the last letter of a word. So since this ayn is in the middle of a word, in the middle of this word, we're going to use the second form here. So then we have the mim. We're going to drop its tail again and keep just the top. And now the ta. The ta, of course, does have a lowercase form. But why do we keep it in its uppercase form? Why do we keep it complete? Because if you remember, we discussed last night that when a letter is a last letter of a word, or there's a space after it, it stays in its capital form. So the ta is the last letter of this word, so it will stay in its full capital form. It will not change to lowercase. So we're going to take these lowercase words, these lowercase letters, and see how they connect now. So we have the alif, it comes here, and we leave a space. Then we have this lowercase noon right here. And then this middle form of the ayn gets connected to the noon. The meme gets connected to the extension of the ayn, and then the ta gets connected to the extension of the meme. Now it's our turn to write the word ourselves. So now we write the alif, simple. Leave a space because the alif does not connect on its left. Now we're going to write the lowercase of the noon. We just come down a little bit and give it a small extension, and the noon has one dot on top. Now we're going to write in the ayn form, which it has when it's in the middle of a word. So we start from there, and it's this middle form. Now we write in just the top portion of the meme. Just the top portion of the meme, and then the ta, we keep complete, and we connect it to the extension. We write it so it's connected to the extension of the meme, and of course write in our two dots for the ta. Very simple. And it's the same process no matter how many letters the words have. So now we have our next word. We have ayn, lam, ya, ha, and meme. So now what are we going to do? This ayn is the first letter of the word, so it's going to have this form, not the other form that we wrote in the last word. It's the first letters, so we simply drop the tail and keep the top. The lam, of course, we drop the tail and keep the long portion with the small extension. The ya has a lowercase form that looks like the ba, the ta, the tha, and the noon. It has this simple shape. They all have the same shape in their lowercase forms, but we can tell the difference between them when we see the dots and how many there are. So the ya has two dots underneath. And if you remember, our next letter, the ha, has three forms as well. It has this form when it's at the beginning of a word. It has this form when it's in the middle of a word. And this is the lowercase ha when it's at the end of a word, when it's the last letter. So because this ha is in the middle of a word, it's between two other letters, we're going to use the second form, the middle form. And then the meme, since it's the last letter of a word, will stay the same. So now we're going to see how they connect. This ayn gets written here. The lam gets connected to the extension of the ayn. The ya gets connected to the lam. And then we bring the middle form of the ha, and then the full form of the meme. And how is this written? Well, here we go. We're going to write the ayn, just the top portion without the tail. Now we're going to write the lam in such a way that it connects right here. So we start here, bring the lam down, and give it a small extension. Next, we're going to write the lowercase of the ya so that it's connected to the lam. And remember to always write the two dots of the ya. Next, we have the ha, and we have to write the middle form. So we come down, come up, loop, and then give it a little extension. And then we write the full form of the meme. And there's our completed word. No problem at all. Let's go to our next one. Here we have a meme, ghain, dad, waw, ba. The meme, of course, you've seen its lowercase form. It's just the top portion. The ghain has three lowercase forms, just like the ayn. The only difference between ayn and ghain is that the ghain has one dot on top. So we're going to use the middle form of the ghain because it's between two letters, and we give it its dot. For the dad, we drop the tail portion, and we keep just the top with this small extension here in place of the tail. The waw does not change. It does not have a lowercase form, so it stays as is. And the ba is the last letter, so it stays the same. So now we see how it's all put together in this word. This is our lowercase meme, the middle form of the ghain, the lowercase dad, the waw, and as you can see, the waw does not connect to the ba because waw is one of those letters that has a space after it. It does not connect on its left, so we leave a space. And now we're going to write it ourselves. So we write the meme in without its long tail. We just have a small extension. Now we're going to write the middle form of the ghain, just like the ayn, but with a dot. And then we're going to write our dad. And instead of the tail, we're going to just write this little extension like that. And of course, the dot on the dad then our waw connected to the dad, and then the full uppercase ba, because the waw does not connect on its left, so the ba stays as is, and the ba is the last letter, so it stays as is. Now we're going to go to, I believe, a 6-letter word now. Here we go. We have alif, lam, ra, ha, mim, and nun. And it's the same process as before. The alif stays the same. You've seen the lowercase lam. The ra does not change. It's another letter that doesn't have a lowercase form. We keep the top portion of the ha. We keep the top portion of the mim. And the nun being the last letter stays the same. So now you see how they connect. Alif with the space after it because it doesn't connect on its left. The lowercase of the lam connected to ra. And the ra does not connect on its left, so we leave a space. Lowercase ha, lowercase mim, full noon because the noon is the last letter, so it stays in its uppercase form. So now we write it. And of course, as we're going over these lessons, it's very helpful for you. You should have your own paper, your own pencil or pen, and you should be writing these along. Or if you watch this later, you can follow along and write it then if you're not doing so now. But you definitely should be writing these. It helps a lot. It helps much quicker, helps you learn much faster if you're writing it yourself. So here we go. Alif always has a space on its left. Lowercase lam, small extension. We write the ra connected to it and leave a space because ra does not connect on its left. Here we have the top of the ha, no tail. Lowercase mim, and the noon stays full, it stays uppercase because it's the last letter. And we're going to move on. We're going to do the next letters that remain a little bit more quickly because you've gotten used to it. So now we have a ayn, lam, mim, ya, and nun. You've seen the lowercase of the ayn when it's the first letter. It's this form. You've seen the lowercase lam a few times. You've seen mim a few times already. This is lowercase mim. You've seen the ya, that it looks just like the nun, ba, ta, and tha in its lowercase form, except it has 2 dots underneath. And you've seen the nun at the end of a word. It stays in its full form. And now here's how they connect. Lowercase ayn, lowercase lam, lowercase mim, lowercase ya, lowercase nun. And here, let's have some fun writing it ourselves. Here's the ayn. Then we're going to bring down the lam with a small extension. Write the lowercase mim. Write the lowercase ya with the 2 dots underneath. And then connect the nun with its 1 dot. You see how easy it is? If you keep on writing, even if you write the same 5, 10, 20 words over and over and over, it's going to become so easy for you. And here's our next word. No matter how many letters it has, don't ever be intimidated by it. It's still always very simple because you take it 1 or 2 letters at a time. Noon, here we have noon, sin, ta, ayn, ya, and noon. So here noon is the first letter, so we write its lowercase. This is lowercase sin. You see how we drop the tail and we keep the top portion. Lowercase ta, the middle form of the ayn again, which we've seen a lot so far. The lowercase ya again, which you've seen. And you see here the noon, lowercase noon here, and this lowercase ya, they have the same basic shape. Same as this ta, same basic shape, but we tell the difference between them by the number of dots that they have and whether the dot is on top or underneath. And this ya has 2 dots underneath, and noon, this noon is the last letter, so it stays in its full form. So here we have the letters connected. You see it. Lowercase noon, lowercase sin, lowercase ta, lowercase ayn, lowercase ya, and noon again. So now we write it, and you're going to be writing it too. Here's the lowercase noon with a dot. Lowercase sin, remember we write 1 curve, 2 curve, and then small extension. Next we write the curve for the ta, and the ta has 2 dots on top. Then we write the middle form of the ayn, since it's between 2 letters. Now we write the ya, the small curve with 2 dots underneath, and then uppercase noon because it's the last letter. Very simple. Our next word. Here we have mim, sin, ta, qaf, ya, and mim. And a lot of these letters you've already seen the lowercase forms. There's lowercase mim, lowercase sin, lowercase ta, and this one may be new. We haven't covered it in this lesson yet. It's the qaf. We drop the tail of the qaf and we keep this small circle with the little extension and the 2 dots, lowercase ya, and the mim at the end stays in its uppercase form. So this is now the word with its letters connected. We have mim, sin, ta, qaf, ya, and mim at the end. So now you write it. Here we have the top portion of the mim with its small extension. Remember the sin, one curve, two curve, and a small extension. Then we write small curve for the ta with its two dots. The qaf, circle and small extension. And of course, qaf has two dots. The small extension of the ya with its two dots underneath. And then we keep the mim in its full form at the end. So now we've had two lessons so far on how to connect the letters. Wa Ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين له الفداء أما بعد. Last night we had a discussion surrounding verse number 7 of Surah Al-Imran, namely in relation to the topic of ayatun muhkamat wa ayatun mutashabihat. We said some of the verses of the Quran are muhkam. They are explicit. They are clear. They are unchanging. And there is no room for misgivings, mistakes in regards to them. And some of the ayat are mutashabihat, meaning that it is possible that those meanings at first glance, those verses at first glance can have more than one meaning, but when we compare them to the ayatul muhkamat and dig deeper, their meanings become clear for us. Now it leads us to a couple of questions. Why does the Holy Quran, which is nur, light, which is true and clear speech, which is the word of God, which is guidance for all of humanity, have ayatun mutashabihat, verses of it that can be, the meaning can be mistaken by us? Why is the content of some verses of the Quran complex so that it can be misused to corrupt? These are important questions that we need to have answered in regards to the Holy Quran. This topic is very important and it requires deep consideration. We will mention 5 possible reasons for the existence of ayat mutashabihat in the Holy Quran. Number 1, these languages that we use, the wording and sentences within them have been developed more than anything else to fulfill our material needs, people's material, daily material needs. It is limited to the confines of material life. In other words, they have been developed for our daily routines, our interactions with each other, and physical and material necessities of our lives more than anything else. That is why you see that most of the words that we speak, most of the concepts that we have in any language of the world are as such, with a little consideration of when we speak and what we say and what those words mean and what they entail, this becomes very clear to us. But for example, when speaking about the Creator, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our language is in the confines of a limited material world, but Allah is unlimited and infinite from every aspect. We quickly see that these words, that these languages are not suitable and they are in proper format from various varying aspects to describe the Creator, the one who is unlimited. So in reality, we are using a limited language, as precise as Arabic even, to describe unlimited realities. So some of the reasons that we have no choice but to have ayat which are mutashabihat is the shortcomings of language. This unsuitability and limitation of language and its wording is the source for much of the mutashabihat in the Holy Quran. For instance, Yadullah fawqa aydihim, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arsh istawa, ila rabbiha nadhiratun. These concepts, which are very expansive, are being described by limited wordings. So therefore, they're mutashabihat. And at first glance, without proper study and comparison with ayatun muhkamat, there's a chance of confusing these. They seem complex. However, for this reason, Allah has placed those ayatun muhkamat to take away this limited capacity of language in us understanding realities, and for Allah stating those realities and instructing us in those manners. The second reason why there's ayatun mutashabihat in the Quran, we said possible reasons, is that many of the realities of Qiyamah, Yawmul Akhir, Akhirah, many of these realities of the other world are distant from our worldly thinking and thought process. We are prisoners of a limited world, a limited time and space. We're confined to a limited time and space. We are unable to deeply understand those matters. So this existence of mutashabihat in the Quran, the reason for them, or one of the reasons for them, is the inadequacy of our minds and the high level of those meanings and those realities. For example, when referring, and many times this becomes clear, when dealing with matters of Yawm al-Qiyamah and the hereafter. The Quran talks about Mizanul A'mal, the balance of our deeds. What is that balance? The meaning is very lofty, but what is our understanding of balance? We mentioned it last night. One of the examples we gave are like the balances you see at the supermarkets. You put your fruits and your vegetables on, and it tells you how much it weighs and what the price is. This is our understanding of balance and the means for measure. But the mizan on Yawm al-Qiyamah is something far greater than that. The riwayat turn our attention to certain aspects of it, and we can have a general understanding of it, but its specifics are very difficult for us to understand. For instance, some of the riwayat mention that Imam Ali alayhi salam is the mizan on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Both Shia and Sunni sources amongst the Muslims have narrated these hadith about Imam Ali. How does that mizan work? How precise is it? What kind of actions does it take? That the Quran says, فَمَنْ يَأْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَأْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. That to the weight and the size of a dharra, which they translate into atom. This is one of the meanings or the new definitions of dharra. But dharra refers to very minute, minuscule things. For example, when you see sometimes when the sunlight shines through the window, these little particles are in the air. Those are called dharra. And even smaller than that, that these scales are so powerful that they can sense even the actions, good or bad, to that level. They're that accurate. But our understanding is far below the realities and the actuality of these matters. Or for instance, the Quran talks about as-sirat, the bridge that goes over the hellfire into paradise. When we think bridge, we think of all of these bridges that we're familiar with. The Betsy Ross, the Ben Franklin, the George Washington, the Golden Gate, whatever these bridges that we're familiar with. But what in reality is this bridge that some of the riwayat, they describe it as sharper than the edge of a knife, sharper than the edge of a sword, and thinner than the strand of a hair. Those concepts are very lofty. Our understanding cannot reach them. Let's make this matter a bit more clear with an example. Imagine that a child in the womb of his or her mother is given the ability to reason and understand, similar to like what we have in this world. And if you tell that child about all of the realities of this earth and this world, the solar system, the sun, the moon, the clouds, the forests and jungles and deserts and rivers and oceans, and the many types of animals and insects and plant life and human beings and so on and so forth. Do you think that child has the capacity to understand these realities? Our situation in relation to the hereafter is the same. We only have the capacity to understand matters to a certain level, a certain level of understanding we can have in relation to the realities of the next world. So therefore, one of the other reasons for the existence of mutashabihat in the Quran is this matter. If we take these two things, the shortcoming of our language and the shortcoming of our understanding, we see that this is enough for us to understand why some ayat are called mutashabihat. The third reason or possible reason for the existence of ayat and mutashabihat in the Quran is that the Quran wants to put our brains to work. The Quran always wants us to dig deeper, to find more meaning, to gain more understanding. It never suffices with a superficial understanding of realities. No. The Quran wants us to have ibra. And the word ibra means to dig deeper into something. Therefore, that is why it calls when we take a lesson from something, ibra, that we should look deeper and form a better understanding or achieve a better and deeper understanding of the realities of our lives, the realities of the world, the realities that are taught to us by the Quran and by Islam. The Quran also wants to bring about an intellectual movement among humanity, like a complex mental problem presented to strengthen one's mind and thought process. The Quran presents us with these ayat mutashabahat for this purpose, in order that we dive into and study matters deeply and our minds become prepared for this. As you know, in order to undertake any task, there needs to be a level of preparation. The ayatul mutashabahat and the questions that arise from them, it helps prepare our brains for more and more and more and deeper understanding of the Quran. It does not want us to suffice with a simple and superficial explanation, nor a simple and superficial understanding. But unfortunately, most of us, this is how we are. We suffice with a very superficial explanation, with a very simple understanding, where the Quran does not want that. It uses all the necessary means to prevent us from doing such and being such. The fourth reason that we can mention for the existence of ayatul mutashabihat in the Holy Quran is perhaps the most important reason of them all. The existence of these type of ayat in the Quran, it makes the need for religious leaders like prophets and awsiya, the need for the Holy Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and the Imams of Ahlul Bayt clear to us. It turns our attention to the fact that we need to go to them, to the Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt in these matters, to get more understanding in relation to the ayat muhkamat. As the Quran says, وَمَا يَعْلَمُ تَأْوِيلَهُ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَالرَّاسِخُونَ فِي الْعِلْمِ, which refers to the Holy Prophet and his Ahlul Bayt. They know the true meanings of these ayat mutashabihat. The Quran turns our attention to turn to them to learn the true meaning and get a proper understanding of ayat mutashabihat, in order to prove and make clear their position and the necessity of the Holy Prophet of Islam and the Imams from the Ahlul Bayt in the world and in our lives, at the head of Islam. And this matter leads us to turning towards the Ahlul Bayt and the Holy Prophet in other matters of our lives, in other questions that we have. We realize that these are the people who are in the know. These are the people that can answer our questions. These are the people that can solve our issues. These are our true guides on the face of the earth. So we turn to them in every aspect of our lives. So this purpose of ayatul mutashabihat is perhaps the most important purpose of them all. And we have evidence of this reason in the Quran itself. The Quran says, for example, in relation to the Holy Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الذِّكْرَ لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ. We revealed, we manifested the Quran. As we said, one of the names of the Quran is Al-Dhikr. We revealed the Quran, manifested the Quran to you, Ya Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, wa anzalna ilayk al-dhikr. Why? لِتُبَيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ مَا نُزِّلَ إِلَيْهِمْ, so that you can make clear to the people what has been revealed for them. And we said that the revelation is three types, if you recall. The revelation in relation to the prophets. One is that Allah speaks directly, or let me rephrase that. One type of revelation, we call it the Quran. One type of revelation, we call it Hadith Qudsi. And the third type of revelation, we call it the words and teachings of the Holy Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wa sallam, Hadith, his Sunnah. So Allah turns our attention to this purpose for Ayatun Muhkamat and the need for us to refer to the Holy Prophet of Islam. Also, in relation to the Ahlul Bayt, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of dhikr. It's amazing that Allah refers to the Ahlul Bayt as Ahlul Dhikr. In other words, Ahlul Quran, the people of the Quran, or the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Refer to them, ask them, in kuntum la ta'lamun, if you do not know. Therefore, we have in a hadith which is mutawatir, and a hadith that is mutawatir, we said there is no doubt in a hadith which is mutawatir. We said the words of the Prophet is also revelation from Allah. So if we know that a hadith is mutawatir, it has been related from so many different sources in so many different generations until it has reached us, it proves the authenticity of that hadith and that there is no doubt that the Holy Prophet of Islam said that, and it's mutawatir in the Sunni and Shia sources of the Muslims. So there's no doubt that the Prophet said that, and whatever the Prophet said is wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did he say? He said, Inni tarikun fikum uthaqalain. Verily, I leave amongst you two weighty and valuable, two precious things. Kitab Allah, the book of Allah, wa itrati, my progeny, ahl bayti, my ahlul bayt. Wa innahuma lan yaftariqa hatta yaridda alayya al-hawd. He said that they do not separate from each other, the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, until they come to me in the pond of Kawthar, in the Hawd al-Kawthar, in paradise. Up until that point, the Quran and Ahlul Bayt are inseparable. Therefore, as much as you see that the Ahlul Bayt refer us to the Quran, turn our attention towards the Quran turns our attention to the Ahlul Bayt. And one of the means that it does so is through ayatul mutashabihat, that we have to ask ar-rasikhuna fil ilm. We have to ask Ahlul Dhikr. Number 5, and the final reason for the existence of ayatul mutashabihat in the Quran is that it is a means for testing people. That verse in the beginning of Surah Imran, it turns our attention to it itself. فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ زَيْغٌ فَيَتَّبِعُونَ مَا تَشَابَهَ مِنْهُ ابْتِغَاءَ الْفِتْنَةِ وَابْتِغَاءَ تَأْوِيلِهِ. That those who have a disease in their hearts, they try to use and take these ayat mutashabihat in order to cause fitna and corruption and misguidance on the face of the earth, and they try to make up meanings for them. So the existence of ayat mutashabihat is a means for testing us to determine who is the hypocrite and who is the true believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think with the mention of these 5 reasons, especially the 4th reason, it becomes very clear to us why there's ayatun mutashabihat in the Quran. And in reality, it is one of the very important aspects of the Quran. Without their existence, we would be deprived of so many of their benefits. May Allah give us the tawfiq to have better and deeper understanding of the Quran, and to make the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, the Holy Prophet of Islam and his Ahlul Bayt, the foundation of our lives and that of our families, our children, and our societies. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Jazakallah, Sayyid. Alhamdulillah. So we would like to remind the brothers and sisters to continually and repeatedly invite their family and friends to these discussions. Of course, we have this every night, pretty much at the same time every night. And if you could go to our YouTube page, like the videos, subscribe to the page, and share the link on your social media accounts. And now we're going to have our question and answer session. Of course, you can type your questions in the group chat here or in the chat on YouTube. So there's a couple fiqh questions that have to do with the Holy Quran during the month of Ramadan. And one is that, is the fast, is it true that the fast is invalidated if someone quotes the Quran or what they say isn't really in the Quran? For example, I say that such and such wording is in the Quran, but it doesn't really exist in the Quran. Does this break my fast? And if there's certain conditions for this, if you could briefly explain, inshallah.
Prior to answering this specific question, it's important to mention that we should have a better understanding of the fiqhi aspect of fasting. And we should become familiar with the books of Islamic laws. They're available in most of the languages today. They've been translated into English. They're available. For instance, the majority of us follow Sayyid Sistani Damadillahu as our marja taqleed, sistani.org. You can find it, download it on your phone or your devices. And it becomes necessary for us to become familiar with the laws of Islam, especially in those things that are necessary in our daily interactions. And fasting is a very important one of them. And they're English and Farsi, available in English, Farsi, Urdu, Turkish, Arabic, you name it, you can find it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's a good reminder that for us to know that fasting is just not refraining from eating and drinking. There are 9 things that invalidate the fast. Eating and drinking are 1 and 2. There are 7 additional matters to this. And one of those matters is attributing a lie to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy Prophet of Islam, and the 12 Imams, and based on precaution, attributing a lie to Sayyida Zahra, salamullahu alayha. So if we say something about, attribute a lie to the word of Allah, that such and such a thing exists in the Quran, but in reality it does not exist in the Quran, then clearly this is attributing a lie to Allah, and it breaks our fast. Or if we say like a hadith that the Holy Prophet said such and such, but it's a made up hadith. He never said those words. Or that Imam Sadiq said such and such, but it's made up, it's fabricated. He never said those words. Then clearly these things break our fast as well. That is why, especially during the month of Ramadan and all other times, it's good to get into the practice to say that it has been related in such and such a book from the Prophet, or related in such and such a book from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, and so forth, that we're not attributing. Or we could say, I believe that the verse of the Quran says such and such. This way we're protecting ourselves from attributing a lie to Allah, His Messenger, Ahlul Bayt, Sayyida Zahra, and we're not invalidating our fast through this action.
Now, as far as attributing something that's not in the Quran to the Quran, is it necessary that a person should deliberately do this in order to lie for the fast to be invalidated, or if a person mistakenly thinks that something's in the Quran, but then he or she quotes it and it's not really in the Quran, but they mistakenly thought it was in the Quran. Would this type of attribution to the Quran also break the fast, invalidate the fast?
When we do things mistakenly in any aspect, that like even eating or drinking, sometimes a person's not paying attention and we put something in our mouths mistakenly or so forth. So when it's a genuine mistake, then Allah is Arhamur Rahimeen. Inshallah, it doesn't break the fast. But at the same time, if that mistake comes about because we fall short in understanding and we fall short in implementing what is necessary, then that's a different matter. So there's a genuine mistake. We didn't intend it, and it's not something that we generally do, and we make sure that we don't do such things. And then there's the mistake because we are careless about these matters. So if we are careless about these matters, then we are responsible. But if we are careful and we make a mistake, then the mistake is removed from us. And this rule applies to every matter. As the riwayat and fiqh refer to them as jahil qasir and jahil muqassir, which is an interesting discussion in itself.
Inshallah. So now, the follow-up question to that would be, does this extend to attributing false interpretation to the verses of the Quran? Maybe, let's say I quote the Quran correctly, but on one hand, let's say in one example, I deliberately misinterpret it, and another one I mistakenly misinterpret it. Do either one of these invalidate the fast in the same way as purposely misquoting the Quran?
Well, clearly, attributing something to the Quran intentionally is something that invalidates the fast. But if we have a mistake in our understanding, we believe that this matter is what the Quran is saying, we're confident of it, and we don't have any ill intention, and we have done our due diligence, then inshallah that doesn't invalidate the fast. Especially if we say that we use these types of words that we believe or possibly. And as a whole, it's a good practice to use these, that perhaps, possibly, I believe from what I've read, when talking about the Quran, we're not in that position to attribute a certain interpretation and meaning to the ayat of the Quran. We're definitely not in that position.
So we have a question on a different track, and the question is, why is the game of chess considered haram? Why is it forbidden by some scholars such as Sayyid Sistani?
Sayyid Sistani and other Maraji Mujtahideen like him, there's some that leave the window open for the possibility of it not being haram anymore. However, based on clear riwayat that we have from Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, the Holy Prophet of Islam, that they have stated that chess is forbidden and haram. And there's some discussion amongst the fuqaha, mujtahideen, as to what the cause of it being haram is. Is it a tool for gambling and games of chance or not? So some of the Maraji have referred to this matter that if chess is no longer considered amongst the people, it's not the norm to be considered a means for gambling, then there's no problem in it. But the viewpoint of, for instance, Sayyid Sistani is that it's still considered a game of gambling. For instance, not now, but anytime you can go to any of these parks where people sit and play chess and so forth, there's a lot of betting going on over those chess games on a regular basis, number one thing. The other matter is that there may be some disagreement that whether the purpose of its hurma and being haram is something else, or is it because it was a game of chance. So it's not proven to Sayyid Sistani that it's okay to play now either.
Jazakallah, Sayyid. So another question about the Quran, which is usually asked by a lot of Muslims themselves. When we look at the Quran, we see that the first surah is Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Hamd. Then we have the second is the second longest surah of the Quran. And for the most part, as you progress through the Quran and get to the final chapters of the Quran, it seems that the chapters get smaller and smaller. So people ask, why is it that the Quran has been arranged in this way? Why was it not, for example, arranged according to the chronological order in which the verses were revealed? Meaning over the years and the months and the days, why was it not logged down and arranged in the order that it was revealed to the Prophet?
This is a good question, and this is going to be one of the topics of our discussion. That when we're exploring the Quran, this is a very important question and a subject that's discussed in the study of the Quran. So without mentioning too much about it, inshallah, stay tuned. We'll have a discussion, a bit more detailed discussion on this subject. But what we do know is that the current order of the surahs and chapters, and as well as the verses of the Quran, were done with the instruction of the Holy Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. And obviously they were, the short answer would be that they are organized in the most effective and beneficial manner for us. So the way that we would benefit best from them is in the order that it is today, presently. So there's a big discussion in the ilm of tafsir and science, ulum al-Quran, about this. First, there's a discussion is that did the Prophet actually instruct them to put the Quran and its chapters in the order that it is now, or no, this is something that the Muslims did after the Prophet of Islam and so forth, which we will try to discuss, inshallah, at a later date.
So one more question, inshallah. I'm sure you have to go to your next program very soon. Someone is asking if you could please summarize briefly the relationship as it relates to the interpretation of the Quran between the concepts, and they have asked had, zahir, and batin, and so on. If you could see the question in the chat room.
Let me bring that up. Okay, so please summarize briefly the relationship between the concepts of had, zahir, matla, and batin as it relates. I'm not sure what they mean by matla, but is it mathal?
Perhaps.
Perhaps. So we discussed this, I think 2 nights ago in more detail. And obviously we refer you to look at that discussion, inshallah. But again, we said the zahir means basically that understanding, that meaning we get from the surface of the wording and the language that's used in the ayah of the Quran. And the batin is a deeper understanding that we get from that with the help of, for instance, the hadith from the Holy Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, or also with the passing of time. And one of the examples we used was wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. We see that this ayah mentions 4 important programs for the success of a human being. So iman, righteous actions, haqq, and sabr. And these matters, its zahir is that it was revealed during the time of the Prophet. The batin meaning will come true during the time of Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, where these 4 concepts will rule all over the earth. So the concept was delivered the one time, the zahir, and its fruition will be in another part. By had of, for instance, had has 2 meanings. One of the meanings of the had is description, definition, introduction of something. And one of it is the limits of something. So this is a deep discussion that inshallah we'll touch upon in a little more later. And the questioner, I request them that please give a little more clarification as what it is that you want to understand by these concepts.
I believe you probably satisfied the question by briefly explaining the relationship to the interpretation of the Quran. As you said, each one of these is a very broad discussion. So if, yes, Jazakallah.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So we don't have any more questions from the brothers and sisters. If you have any final words for us, inshallah.
Just that, inshallah, please remember us in your du'as. And may Allah accept your fasting and your a'mal. And may He hasten the return of Imam Zaman alayhi salam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.